Vols are back.
Yeah, they had us the first half, I'm not going to lie.
Oh, could be Wayne!
I think I got my swagger back. Oh!
I love it, baby!
Them orange britches. Something about them orange britches.
Tennessee wins! By Tennessee to one Jennings. Jennings makes the catch.
Ball hit high in the air into right field. Going back is Sayre. And Tennessee can say hello, win column. A grand slam in the bottom of the ninth. You can't draw it up any better.
We just won a basketball game, and we're very happy right now.
I made up my mind. I don't expect to ever look back. I'm going to stay at the University of Tennessee.
Reddit did to do, and welcome into More Important Issues. It is Sunday, August 14th. Football, I know it was back last week. The other one is back now too. We've got it's just listen, we can argue about when is summer for you? Because technically we're still in summer, but for me it's just June and July. It's fall now.
I guess summer's like for me is when it's still hot. So I count
one of those.
I count when like football, yeah, fall, but like those games that it's like sweltering hot, it's still summer.
Okay, so I just go based on
football season.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So winter doesn't come until like February.
Fall's like great football weather.
Oh, beautiful. Saturday, I don't know what it was like down in Knoxville. It was amazing Saturday morning. It smelled like football in the air. It was like, I mean, I know I just said football's back, but Tennessee football, we're still waiting. I could smell it. It was a tease for sure. For sure.
I love it. I'm excited about it. There's 18 days. I know we got NFL preseason going on, which is kind of like a slap in the face to me. It's cool and like I'll watch it, but it's not anything where I like have to sit there.
Yeah, for sure. I don't play my day, and it kind of stinks because you can't always watch the games you want to watch. You just better hope it's on in your area.
Yeah.
So that kind of stinks. Speaking of teases too, we do get a tease this week at the Hacker Cup. We're gonna do a little gating. It's gonna be fun. We're drinking a few beers. We're having a good time, chatting it up, probably talking some football. I'm sure some NFL preseason games will be going on while we're there, so it'll be a good time. We did our fantasy draft today. Then we stayed on, and then I know we didn't get to all get together like we used to, which stinks. But we were on a Zoom call, and it was fun to talk a little football.
Yeah, we need to do that like every Friday night or something.
Yeah, I don't know if I can swing every Friday night with Emily, but yeah, Thursdays maybe.
Okay, that's fair.
Just get right off here, and hey, that's more important issues after dark.
Yeah,
for sure.
You got to be careful who we let in there.
But it's fun, and I can't wait to. We were talking about today staying up until 2 a.m. watching football, starting in the morning at 7:30 with the EPL, and going all the way, hoping Hawaii's playing at home that week. Can't wait for those days. So I'm pretty pumped, and we're getting closer. It's obviously fall camp. Tennessee now has a couple scrimmages under their belt, and I hate that I'm getting more excited. And I know it's like the Tennessee in me because fall camps, pretty much only good stuff's going to come out unless you're USC and you've got those. I don't even know if it's fair to call them up downs. Did you see that video? They had a video of them doing up downs because they were walking on the field, and there were a lot of embarrassing up downs in that video. And then some of the injured guys were caught on video, which they're injured, so they're doing sit-ups. It doesn't look good, optics for sure.
That's straight out of a high school football practice.
Yeah, it wasn't a good video thing. I told you, I don't believe in USC. I don't believe in Lincoln Riley. So yeah,
Interesting.
I don't in year one for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he might win some Pac-12 championships or anything like that, but I don't think he's not going to compete for national titles. He might sneak in to fourth one year in the playoff, but that's going to be it for him, unfortunately. Looks like Caleb's frozen. Caleb has the worst internet connection of all time. I don't understand it. I thought I would, see his house. He lived in the boonies. He lives in a neighborhood. I don't understand why it's so bad in Johnson City, but yeah, he's kind of in and out. It looks like his connection is not great right now, but we're going to get right into it. We're talking tight ends. We're talking fall camp. We're talking a little bit of recruiting. Maybe we'll throw in some baseball and stuff like that. Always fun. So if you got any questions, drop those in the chat, or hey, if you just want to comment or make fun of Caleb, not myself, that's cool too. Just hop right in, and we'll be happy to get to those as we see them. So. Fall camp a little bit. Tennessee had their second scrimmage today. Josh Heupel met with the media, and I think the number one thing to kind of point out is Brew McCoy is still not eligible. He did get some praise for Josh Heupel today, but I just don't get whoever is it the NCAA? Is it the SEC? Is it USC? I mean, what's going on with Brew McCoy? I'd like to know because it's becoming a common theme where Tennessee gets a transfer and it's a transfer that's, a guy that should make an immediate impact. And here's Caleb again.
Check.
You're back.
Okay.
I was telling him about your
show to try to catch up.
Yeah, I don't know if if you told me, but I was telling him about your internet connection. Oh, great.
Yeah, I heard that, and you're right. I don't know why it's so bad. Maybe if we've got any other Tri-Cityers in here, if maybe they can tell me how good Bright Ridge is before I hate it. And what's stupid is I was connected to the Wi-Fi the whole time. Landon knows this because he's in the background to restream. You can see how strong your internet connection was. It was full green. So I just don't understand.
Interesting.
And hey, it could be some of my laptop. Like that could be part of the problem. I'm not doubting that.
But you're back. That's all that matters. We're talking about Brew McCoy a little bit, and I just don't get how it's always something with eligibility issues. I don't like. Are we? I don't know if anybody else is here from when Cade Mays got eligible, but it happened last year with Byron Young, where these players are missing games because of eligibility issues.
And the Cade Mays one, the Brew McCoy one, I kind of understand because he's transferred so many times. Cade Mays one, I understand. That was like right on the cusp of the free transfer rule. The Byron Young one was just stupid.
Yeah. But I mean, if we're going based off what we've seen so far in the last couple of years, I'm willing to kind of put my money that Brew McCoy probably won't be eligible for the first game.
We'll get him for Florida.
Yeah, that's fine. I just hate that because you're trying to get mixed in with the your first game is usually an easy game. So Ball State,
right?
That's a game where you want to get people ready to kind of get all the nerves and jitters out, and it looks like it's getting more and more. It's getting closer, so the time's kind of running out on that to get him eligible for that first game. But he did receive some praise from Josh Heupel today. I think he would be a starter for Tennessee at receiver.
Oh, you think he's moving up?
I think he's opposite Cedric Tillman. I do.
Okay.
I think he's got the talent. He's a big wide receiver. I just think he's something different that I don't think anybody else is really like him.
Yeah, I think he definitely has some unique attributes. It's just one of those things we talked about that coming into fall camp because it didn't look like he would be in that starting lineup, which didn't surprise me. It was his first time being with the team in a practice setting, I should say. He wasn't with them in the spring. But it wouldn't surprise me if he ended up starting later in the year. So, like you said, that stinks about the eligibility thing because could he be a guy by game 4 or 5 if he was there game 1, 2, and 3, or could he be a guy by game 3? Well, very likely when you get to see some in-game reps. It just sucks. It's one of those things. It doesn't surprise me. I think surely if he's not eligible for I think it'll just be a few games. Like it's going to be one of those things where they give it to us late again, like Cade Mays and Byron Young,
which is dumb. It's like
just make him eligible now. What are you waiting on?
Right.
Have you just not gotten to him yet? Is that what it is?
It shouldn't take that long.
Wasn't that pretty much the excuse with Cade Mays? Like we're overwhelmed with transfer requests. Wasn't that pretty much it?
probably. And Byron Young was
Probably.
like he played at like a prep school for like 2 games or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't make any sense. I mean, we're all about the athletes though, right?
Exactly. It's NCAA. I mean, they care about their student athletes. They want them to succeed. They're going to really rush. They're going to get everything done on time for sure.
Yeah. I haven't heard of Alabama or Georgia having any issues with transfers. I don't know about you. But with the Brew McCoy thing, I mean, like, yeah, he enrolled at Texas and then went to USC, but it's not like he played a game or anything. He pretty much got out of his letter of intent. Is pretty much all that happened.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know if the legal issues are anything to do. I wouldn't think because he was gonna be. Everyone assumed legal.
It doesn't have anything to do with legal
That's
issues.
what I didn't think. And I don't know. I guess calling them legal issues probably isn't fair because I'm not saying it didn't or didn't happen. It sounds like a not great situation. Not going to get into that. It just seems like it's also over. So I guess that's not fair to call it legal issues.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's anything to do with that. But I mean, is it something in compliance? I mean, I don't want to just point fingers at the university, but why does this keep happening?
Yeah, that's true. It's now been through 2 coaching staffs. That is. I don't think it's anything that could have helped. I'll give him this. I think Byron Young is just the NCAA being the NCAA.
Right.
Because that's so dumb that he was ineligible because of that. So
Who
that one
Urosh was another guy, right? Who had issues.
he was what he came in the same year as Cade Mays, right? And that was right on the cusp of transfer.
He missed like half
He
the
missed
year.
maybe a little bit less than half, but yeah, like I think he got eligible like right around SEC play.
Yeah, like Christmas or something like that. Yeah.
Merry Christmas, Urosh.
But the scrimmage today, the defense looked like it played well from what I got from Josh Heupel. I wasn't there. I don't think anybody was there, unless you're watching from.
You got a drone?
Yeah, that'd be the only way, I guess, unless you're just stowed away in a box somewhere and kind of made a peek. But yeah, it seemed like the defense had a good day. I think that's reassuring for me anyway, because that's my biggest kind of. And I know like people are going to say, well, that means the offense look bad. I don't think the offense is going to be bad.
Yeah, I don't think that's really.
I think
question.
You know what you get out of them. Yeah.
I did. I saw where he thought the secondary tackled really well today. I don't know if that's a good thing for the defense. I guess it means, hey, maybe you make some game-saving tackles, but if they're making enough tackles that you comment on it, that may not be a great thing.
Well, he did mention the screen game and stuff, so that makes me feel a little better about that. So maybe it was kind of minimum yardage.
I think if anything, I think the defense will be more physical.
Gotta be, right?
I would think so.
I think depth only helps that, but yeah.
And he also commented on linebacker depth, which is a big question mark for me. I do want to know where Juwan Mitchell's at. Weird year last year. Like, let's just be honest about it. He gets injured. They never really say what the injuries. It was kind of like indefinite, and then he just wasn't. Obviously, it was a season type of deal. I know he played. It was just like he really wasn't with the team. Like, it wasn't. Very strange. Didn't think he'd be back this year. He is. So I want to, if he can just be a contributor, I'm going to hope Aaron Beasley gets better, kind of being a second year full-time starter deal, I guess you'd call him that. I don't really, I mean, was there another starter besides Jeremy Banks? Kind of seemed like that was a rotational position.
Yeah, Sloan Page was kind of in that rotation a little bit. But yeah, Juwan Mitchell, it seems like his buy-in wasn't there. Kind of the same deal with Jalen Hyatt last year. He played a little bit at first, and when he got injured, I don't know if there was a huge, buy-in from him to really get back and get back in the swing of things. He just kind of
right,
and that happens when you get injured and you kind of have to work your way back. That up the depth chart and everything. That sucks. It's tough.
And I talked about him being away from the team. I mean, I think it's hard when you're injured because you're just naturally away from the team,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Walker Merrill, Jimmy Holiday also got some praise from Josh Heupel when he was talking about the receivers. I thought that's That's interesting because those two, I mean, they played a little bit last year. I think Walker Merrill kind of more than Holiday at receiver. Um, Both are going to contribute on special teams, and maybe they can contribute at wide receiver position. If Brew McCoy isn't healthy, I think absolutely one of those guys gets to play
When you talked about it
or isn't
2 weeks,
eligible, not healthy.
right? When we previewed the wide receiver position, I don't know if that was last Sunday or it was recent, and you talked about you think there's going to be a more of a rotation to that group, anyways. So I think you're looking for 6 guys that can give you a lot this year, or 5 maybe if you're going to target Cedric Tillman a lot. Let's be honest. So yeah, I think getting those guys to where they can really support. They're not just in there when the guy absolutely needs a break. It's a fast-paced offense. You want to have a bunch of dudes going. So I think if they can really contribute more, that's going to be huge for this Tennessee offense. I think Walker Merrill looks just a lot stronger than he has.
Yeah, he really does.
Maybe it's the dark visor, which we know the NCAA won't approve that. We just know it. But he looks like a bad.
Did you
dude
see what
now.
it is? He wears
The
it for migraines.
Yeah, so he's going to request NCAA approval to wear it. But it sounds like that hasn't come back yet either.
Yeah. So I guess they just want him to have migraines. That's cool. That's great for the game that wants to protect kids' heads and everything. So, yeah, I love that. Love the NCAA and everything they contribute to my well-being and everybody else's. But yeah, I definitely think, and I think there is, going back to that kind of keyword buy-in. Josh Heupel and this offense kind of proved that, hey, if you're not bought in, you're not going to play. We're perfectly comfortable with playing 3 guys a million snaps like they did with Peyton, Valus, and Cedric last season.
I don't know if I'm comfortable with it, but that's good that they are.
Well, I mean that's what they did all season long,
right?
So it's like maybe it was kind of proven to these guys like, hey, if I don't trust you, I don't care if you're second string, you're not playing.
Right.
So, I'm sure there's been more competition from that aspect just because, they're tired of not playing. I think Walker Merrill said that earlier this week when he met with the media. He's like, I'm kind of tired of not playing.
Yeah, and I mean, you should see a ton of, like I said, I mean, they rotate out. They want to rotate out a lot, I should say. So I mean, there's plenty of chances to get in it. It's got to be tough to not. And yeah, it does seem like the buy-in's more there with guys. Just I like that it sounds like everyone's on the same page. I think that's a start. You got to go beyond that, but
and that should happen every year too.
Hopefully, you got to win games. I mean, we know it. It doesn't matter how good your culture is; it's going to fall apart if you can't win games. I mean, it's just what it is.
Yep. And then I think the last thing he did mention the DBs a little bit, mentioned Deshaun Rucker and how he had a good day. So there's competition at cornerback, which you love to see, especially after that game against Purdue. But he also mentioned Darnell Wright is staying at right tackle. Not going to move him to left tackle. He kind of trusts the 2 guys competing for that left tackle spot and Jeremiah Crawford and Gerald Mincey.
Yeah, which is I mean, you talked about it when we previewed the offensive line. That's a very important position. So,
yeah.
Interesting. I mean, I hope that means those guys are coming along.
You'd hope. You would hope that when you have a guy capable like Darnell Wright, that if they weren't, he would shift him over to left tackle. Right. So it seems like he's seen enough from those 2 guys that one of them, I guess we'll see both of them throughout the course of the season, I'm sure. But who gets the majority of snaps and everything like that, it will be interesting to see.
Yeah, for sure.
I have a hard time thinking it's not Gerald Mincey. I have no evidence to back that up. I just think he's bigger. He just looks more athletic.
That's your evidence.
Yeah, definitely passed the eye test, 100%. They both have dreads, so I couldn't give it to one of them for that. So
tie. Next.
Do you have anything else for fall camp?
No, not really. It's getting into the one where it's getting into the part of fall camp where we a weekend, and I'm like, all right, can we get this over with? It's when's kickoff?
Yeah.
It's
Um,
it gets kind of like tiresome. I mean, just because the scrimmages are exciting to hear about, but like I said, you don't get a ton. I mean,
right.
it's just what it is.
So we do have a question from
Okay.
John CTN. He said, "Hey boys,
Hey, John.
do you s- do you see Ramel Keaton playing any of the season?"
I mean, yeah, I, I don't know. He's got to, right?
Yeah, I think he is a veteran in this room now, and he played some last season and did some good things. I think he only gets better. Um, and I think if he doesn't play, I think it tells you a lot about the talent behind him, more so
That's
than just
fair.
not him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think especially with you take Brew McCoy completely out of the equation, at least for the first few games, and you're going to see him on the field early in the season.
Mhm.
I think that definitely matters. I mean, going back to Brew McCoy, I'm interested to see. I mean, you think he's a starter right out of the gate. I'm just interested to see it just because I said he hadn't fall camp was his first day. I mean, he's essentially just barely ahead of Lynn Dixon. So, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
Speaking of him, I'm interested to see if he has an impact.
I think he's impactful. How much I think is the question. I think you get a veteran guy in there, you pretty much just have a bunch of really young guys. He has obviously played at this level, so I think that has that going for him.
Isn't
I
it
think when you
crazy that
talk,
Jabari Small's a junior?
that is wild. I feel like he's been here forever. Didn't he take over for John Kelly?
Pretty much, yeah.
I I think we talk about pass protection, and there's a lot of questions about who's going to be good in pass protection. I don't know how good is it. Lynn J. Dixon, is that his name?
Yeah.
Lynn J. Dixon. I don't know how good he is in pass protection. I want to go watch film. I gotta think he's more physical than the other guys right now. Than maybe Jabari Small. More physical than everybody else besides Jabari Small.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think he has a leg up on the freshman just because he's been in a Power 5 program
Right.
and just probably understands the concepts and things more. Maybe trusts his eyes a little bit more. That pace of play probably helps. But I don't know. I don't, not really doing a lot last year, kind of moving around a little bit, and then him kind of playing catch up from the get go. Even behind these freshmen, I mean,
Yeah.
Justin Williams Thomas has been here since early January. So
Yep.
for him to just get on campus just in fall camp, I mean, I don't know, that's tough. I
For
couldn't
sure.
imagine just showing up for fall camp and be like, all right, let's learn a whole playbook in 3 weeks until we play.
Yeah, I think I would be surprised if we don't see him in Ball State or Akron. I would be shocked if we see him without injury much. It would
I
take
think
guys
he's
going
dealt with
down.
a little bit of injury as well, so that probably doesn't help his case. He needs all the reps he can probably get in practice.
Yeah, I mean, we are talking about Jalen Wright too. Not being 100%. Maybe that sneaks him into the Ball State game and Akron game,
Yeah, maybe.
and maybe Pitt because it falls between those. I don't know.
All right. Well, let's talk about the tight ends a little bit.
Let's do that.
I'm interested to see kind of this group because Alex Golish is a tight ends coach. He is the offensive coordinator. We thought last season they'd be more involved, and I guess to a certain extent they were.
I think they were maybe not more as much involved as we thought. I think they were obviously a lot more involved than they have been
Before Heupel took over.
Right.
Correct. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I expect them to have a little bit more production. Just under 400 yards between Jacob Warren and Princeton Fant. Jacob Warren had 18 catches, 179 yards, 3 touchdowns. Princeton Fant had 16 catches, 220 yards, and a touchdown. So, not bad seasons from tight ends.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably a pretty good season if just one of them has that production. But when you're spreading the ball around as much as Tennessee wants to, um, I just feel like this another year. I feel like Hendon Hooker is probably more comfortable with these guys. The good like playing quarterback. You're like your first thought is receivers.
Yeah.
Now, like you have to get like the best tight ends in the NFL are guys that have been there for a while. They're comfortable with a Travis Kelsey, a George Kittle, Mark Andrews, guys like Darren Waller. So I think there is more of a comfortability factor. And then losing Valus, losing Javante, guys that this staff trusted. I think kind of losing them, it opens the door for them a little bit more to be used, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I try to think how to say this the best. For me, it's really not so much the production in yards and touchdowns. I just want to see that the tight ends are utilized when you can utilize them. Because, like you said, this offense is really trying to get out in space, and sometimes, and I think especially in the SEC, and you not have an elite wide receiver. Nothing against Jacob Warren and Princeton Fan. I think they're good, but guys that aren't going to be mismatch nightmares. Linebackers can be just as fast as them. Let's see if Nichols can be as just as physical with them, but they're not nightmare matchups. So I think it's expecting them to produce a lot. I think there were a couple times I was pretty pleased with the production and the chances they took to the tight ends. I think Tennessee missed a couple key chances with tight ends. So can you utilize them when the game allows you to? Is the question for me. I want to see those red zone opportunities. You see Jacob Warren get a few. I think there was a bad miss against Georgia, where either it was thrown late and maybe overthrown, or I think it was down there in the north end zone. And so, like, chances like that, can you take advantage of those and use those tight ends? Because not like I don't know how often they were open, but there were times that it was clear the middle of the field was Tennessee did a good job of spreading the defense out, and the middle of the field was open. So can you utilize the tight ends in those situations, I think, is what I ask. And maybe it's open often, and that turns into a lot of production. But I'm not necessarily looking for a ton of production. I'm looking for impactful production.
Yeah, like the 3 touchdowns from Jacob Warren, that was huge.
Yeah.
And you kind of mentioned it. He's more of a red zone target. He's 6'6", 250. He was kind of that same way at Farragut when they put him out wide and just kind of chucked it up to him. I'd like to see more of that. I know we have pretty good receivers that can go up and get it, but when you got 6'6" and you got a big body to kind of go around against a smaller defender or even a slower guy and a linebacker, I like Jacob Warren's chances. So
right.
Well,
he's just got to be more physical. I don't know how much faster he can get, but if he can be more physical, I think that helps a ton.
Yeah, he has put on some weight. I don't remember what he was at last season, but they have him listed at 250 now. So yeah, I'd like to see him utilized a little bit more. Princeton Fan kind of compliments him a little bit, and he played running back and I think receiver earlier in his career, and so he is more of a faster kind of catching tight end. Now he can be physical. I think he's plenty physical enough to play in this league. That's kind of obvious, but
right.
Yeah, I think they both kind of complement each other. They both do different things. They're not the same guy.
Yeah, which wish you could mesh them together because, like you said, it'd be a nice thread.
Mm-hmm. And then you got a Miles Campbell, who is a guy the staff is pretty high on, but and it's probably the most probably the most talented in this room, but just has to put it all together. Maturity is the thing, knowing this offense, being physical, being able to run around. This tight end is that's a tough position because you basically have to do everything a receiver does and everything an offensive lineman does.
Right, and I mean, this is a tough league to block in. Like, it's not like the edge rushers you're facing, the linebackers you're facing, the nickelbacks you're facing. I mean, it's a tough league to block in, and a lot of times they're asking to go block in space. Tight ends are getting the second level. It's tough. It is very the tight end position is probably one of the more, in terms of your competition, probably one of the tougher positions to play in the SEC. Because, like you said, all the things that are asked of you.
100%. 100%. I wouldn't want to play it. It's not.
I would love to play it if I had this size.
Well, it's crazy. Like we're doing our mock draft, and I'm just like, there's like 4 tight ends, and after that, it's just like, I mean,
Why I
it's
took
just,
Pitts early.
yeah, it's just a bunch of guys that if I didn't watch football all day, every day on Sunday like that, I wouldn't know who these guys were.
Yeah, for sure. It's a like you said, there's a lot of guys in the league. If you can be a good tight end, you can be a money maker for sure. Your wife won't even have to go to work.
That's like Martellus Bennett was talking about Jason Witten when he was at the Bears, and I think he was already with the Bears, but he was talking about when he was at the Cowboys, and he was just like, I just don't get it. Like I was faster than him, I could catch better than him, but he was always open.
So, dude, knowing how to run routes, I think that's the funny thing about like 7-on-7 is supposed to be for running routes. I just feel like it was so much easier to run routes than 7-on-7. Did you feel that way?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I don't know what it is because you're not, especially as I guess for you, it's a little bit different. But as an outside receiver, the field's kind of the same.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's but I mean, being a good route runner is just as important as being fast. For example, like if you can be fast but you can't move your defender, well, what's the point?
Right. Yeah. So definitely like those two, like Miles Campbell.
Also, what a bold statement for him to say he had better hands than Jason Witten.
Yeah, maybe just his range was better.
Maybe
that would mean like he was just more athletic than Jason Witten. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's I don't know if he knows what hands means.
Jason Witten didn't drop a lot of balls.
Right. That's just a weird take to me. Maybe he's like, I could make a one-handed catch better than him, but that wasn't necessary.
Yeah,
you didn't have to do that.
You also got Charlie Browder, who transferred in from Tennessee, was committed to Josh Heupel at UCF, and then I think went to Auburn and transferred over. He's a redshirt freshman. I think he's kind of like a preferred walk-on. You got Hunter Salmon, who's also a walk-on. So I think you have some depth there, some guys that have played. But man, I'm super excited for Ethan Davis to get on campus.
Yeah.
No offense to these guys, but I just think he's next level tight end. And a tight end that this staff is recruited.
Right. And talking about a young guy you're excited for, I'm excited to see if Miles Campbell is used this year. I mean, the question, right, is can he be as effective in the run game or in pass protection as the other two, right? I mean, that's our question, surely.
Well, the fact that Julian Nixon and Trinity Bell, 2 guys that came in with him, transferred, tells me that he saw his path to the field.
Right.
So you would think that he's going to play. I think the staff would like to have 3 tight ends available, just because with how physical this league is. Yeah,
I just want to run a 2 tight end set. You thinking 3?
Yeah, use him as a fullback.
A little H-back action, huh?
Yeah, I like it. Let's go heavy at times.
All right.
We can still go fast and use heavy.
That would be, if we could, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
I would love that. I'm excited for the tight end position. Just because I feel like you got them more involved last year, and I feel like you could see them getting better, and it seemed like they were just putting themselves in better opportunities. Now it's kind of on the staff and Hennon and Hooker to do more to help them, and so I'm excited. Jacob Warren, maybe it's the Craven Wings that gets me fired up, but I like him a lot.
Yeah, got to.
You got anything else for the tight ends, or
not a whole lot? I just think they should be utilized more. I just think that they're quarterback's best friend when used properly. So, just like to see more trust in them, I guess. When they did throw it, it seemed to, do pretty well. When you're going that fast, I think the worry is the big play and stuff like that. But when you're able to, find those kind of wide open right down the seam for, a couple of those Jacob Warren touchdowns were that way. Nothing's prettier.
Imagine what it does for the guys on the outside too late in the season. If early in the season you can get the tight ends involved, you have to make them defend the middle of the field more often. That's gonna if Cedric Tillman, a guy that can absolutely get behind, his guy on the outside. How much help does that guy have? And then if Brew McCoy is playing, I mean, that just helps them out so much.
Yeah, when you're worried about a tight end streaking across the field, that safety in cover two has to, he's going to be a little late over the top of Cedric Tillman and Brew McCoy if he's watching Jacob Warren.
Yep, for sure. Love it. God, I'm so excited. I can't wait. Do we find out about paper tickets? We got in the – or you didn't get a call Friday, right? Did we talk Friday?
Yeah, I don't think he got the call on Friday. I don't know. If you know about the paper tickets, apparently somebody told me that you can pay extra and get them. And then somebody said that they just sent them to him. So I don't know what that means. There is a thing that you can call if you don't have access to a smartphone. Is that you just play dumb and
yeah? What's
say you don't act?
Hey, I'm calling on my track phone. I just bought minutes, so please hurry.
I'm wrapped up in this cord.
Can you hear my rotary?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, I'll do that. I'll be the guinea pig. People think I'm 63 years old. I might as well act it.
There you go. Yeah. Tennessee did get some good news today. Landed a cornerback commit out of Trustville, Alabama, and that's I guess 3 or 4 star, whichever place.
I saw a lot of 4 stars being tossed around, so I'll go 4.
Yeah. Cornerback is ranked the number 23 cornerback per 247 Sports, or I'm sorry, 51 quarterback, number 23 player in the state of Alabama. Well, what's really interesting, it was kind of Tennessee, Arkansas, and then Georgia got involved. So it's like, oh, well, here we go. Took his official visit to Georgia, and then he apparently got a bump up in rankings to a 4-star.
Okay.
And then when it got, the prediction came out that he was coming to Tennessee, then he went down to a 3-star.
This is like that.
I mean, just like, don't even try to hide it.
We talked about rankings when they released that new one. I don't know. They released that one. I think it was when camps weren't really going on during COVID, and they just redid the rankings. And it's like, what'd you get? Like, where did you get this from? And they're like, well, we just went back and watched more film. And it's like,
that we've already watched,
right? I'm like, what are we doing here? And and I think I'm not trying to completely trash 247 and Rivals, because if you go and look at their hit rate for like 5 stars who end up being first rounders and those who are all Americans and things like that, and 4 and 3 stars, etc. Like it is obviously there is some science to it. Like it makes sense, but there's a lot of it that I surely they can admit it is a guessing game. And I think maybe some of that is made a joke by the people who rank and make the rankings, because it's like, what are you doing? They'd probably hit if they just made it simpler. Honestly, they probably hit way more often than not.
Well, Mike Farrell, he did not want to give Trey Smith that 5-star, and he's like, "I'll be getting my gift basket."
Gift baskets from UT fans.
Yeah. Now he's no longer at Rivals, so I don't know if that had any.
Where's he at now?
I don't know. He said big things to come, and I don't know what he's doing.
Interesting. I'd like to see Vegas maybe start getting into rankings, see what they can do, because I mean they hit on just about everything else.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I like that.
Little bet MGM rankings.
But yeah, Rickey Gibson commits to Tennessee. If Georgia's willing to give him an official visit and give him the offer, I'm cool.
Well, I mean,
it's good enough for me.
Yeah, and then the Penn State being involved too. Were those the top 3? Penn State, Georgia, and Tennessee? Is that right?
I don't know. I just know it was Georgia and
Gotcha.
Georgia and Tennessee was kind of the 2 teams it was down to. But yeah, I think that's really that shows a lot of him. I think he camped. Did well at camp, and then they got him an offer, got him an official visit, and usually like if it's Tennessee and Georgia, you're like, all right, well, if they want him that bad, he's probably going to Georgia. But apparently they did want him that bad, and I'm guessing he saw the path to the field, right?
Yeah, I
I
would
mean,
think so.
I know we got a lot of competition. We got some young guys, but I mean, it's kind of there for the taking. Whereas Georgia, they get 5-star, 5-star, 4-star, 4. I mean, they're just loaded up with talent. But with Tennessee's depth issues, that is a point of sale. It's like, hey, we got some guys that we think can play, but we also, think you can come in and contribute right away. So
Yeah, and I think you hear a lot of good about Willie Martinez, especially in the defensive back community. So I think that's got to help it too, having him coaching your DBs.
yeah, so Tennessee's got a pretty good secondary within this class. You got Sylvester Smith, Christian Conyer, Rickey Gibson, Jack Luttrell, 2 safeties, 2 corners. Jordan Matthews is supposed to make his decision tomorrow between Tennessee and Texas. I would be shocked if it's not Texas, honestly.
Right.
He's from Baton Rouge, so the proximity to home is probably closer to Texas, and they're just lighting it up recruiting wise. So I would kind of be shocked if it's not Texas, but Tennessee's in it, and like you mentioned, Willie Martinez is, he has guys in the league, so I'm sure that's easy to sell to these DBs that he's recruiting. So we'll see
for sure. I hope I'm again. I think I like some of the, I guess, their selling points clearly to recruits. I like some of the defensive recruits that are coming to Tennessee. I know Rodney Garner's got a lot to do with that, but even more reason I'm gonna definitely be patient on Tim Banks, and I'm excited to see what happens this year. I think you're gonna be stronger. I don't know how much stronger, but I think you're gonna be stronger defensively.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Do you like that Tennessee? I wasn't in here for the top 25 talk on Thursday. Do you like that we're out of the top 25? Does that make you feel better about the season?
And I kind of said this. I mean, like it probably definitely helps motivate a little bit, I would think.
I just feel like it doesn't curse us either.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
it's
safe. Now, I did rip it of how stupid it is.
There's some dumb ones for sure.
I looked up every single one of the coaches that voted, and
who were the big names?
It was pretty telling who was on there. Well, the 4 names I mentioned was Butch Jones, Brady Hoke, Greg Schiano, Tyson Helton.
You think Tyson Helton hates Tennessee?
Nick Saban. Josh Heupel's not on there. So
how does Butch Jones get on there?
I don't know. But here's the thing. I told Joe, I was like, after that top 3, they could have said TBD. Because I don't think either, like, any of those teams below them have a shot.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very fun first 5 weeks because then you have a couple games week 1, but because you don't see the matchups till about week 5, I think it's going to be a crazy first couple weeks of college football.
Yeah, I agree.
I think betting is going to be really hard.
And I think the person who picked Texas number 1 should I don't know.
You and Joe tried to figure out who it was, right?
Yeah, because
he said he thinks it's Jimbo. Is Jimbo on there?
Yeah, but Jimbo wasn't
Jimbo's not on there. Okay.
No. Like, I think that there's like
Is Archie? Is Archie on the playoff committee?
For how many teams are in that state, there's 3 coaches that represent. Like, if there was 6 teams in that state, I think 3 represents that state. But if there's just 2 schools, I think there's just 1. So I think Tennessee has 4.
Gotcha. Is Archie Manning going to be allowed to be on the college football playoff committee when Arch is playing? I can't remember who else on it now. It's a weird list. I think like Condoleezza Rice is on there.
I don't know. I mean, surely some of those people have to have cousins or grandkids.
That's true.
Yeah. Something in college football.
I know there's some athletic directors on there, but I don't think it's current. Oh, that is current. Mitch Barnhart's on there. You don't have to worry about them being in the college ball playoff.
Right.
Gary Barta, he's at Iowa. I don't know how to say her name. A professor at Arizona State. Tom Berman, Wyoming. AD. Charlie Cobb. I guess AD, Director of Athletics. What's the difference? Athletic Director and Director of Athletics. Oh, I guess they're all. I guess it's the same thing. Whatever. Georgia State. Yeah. Okay. For some reason, I was thinking it was mostly like retired people, like they were an AD at one point or whatever. But that's not
But the preseason polls are so dumb anyway. Like it doesn't really matter. I was just mad that there's so many teams that I'm just like, they're too far away from Tennessee. Like I was mad that we were so close to Auburn when Auburn's a freaking train wreck. Michigan State, they lose Kenneth Walker. They're at like 14. NC State's at 13. I know they got some hype around them, but it's NC State. So there's just a lot that I just had an issue with. Clemson and Notre Dame being near the top 4 is stupid to me.
Clemson's an interesting one. I've heard some stuff about DJ that they think he's going to take the next step, but I just don't think the rest of the teams. Maybe the ACC being weak, kind of like what we talked about with Ohio State earlier today. And not on the show. Just that they'll probably be in the college football playoff just by nature of their division. That they're probably going to go undefeated and win their conference. So maybe that's a Clemson situation because I do not believe in Miami. Save me your takes on Tyler Van Dyke and Mario Cristobal. I don't believe in Miami. And then I think North Carolina's going to be better this year. I don't think they're competing for an ACC title.
You think they're better?
I think they're better than last year. They were just so bad last year. They can't get worse, right?
Well, I mean, they don't have Sam Howell anymore, so I don't think they might be worse.
Fair point.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think there's a great way to rank all those teams. I just kind of like, where are we getting our information from? Because Pitt, I know they were the ACC champs last year, but when you lose your 2 best players and the 2 like focal points of your offense,
I forgot about Pitt.
How are you going to finish higher this year than last year?
Agreed.
So
maybe they do just because, like we just mentioned about Clemson, the ACC is not all that strong.
Yeah, maybe. But then how is Clemson 4?
For sure. It would be great if Tennessee can beat Pitt and they can win the ACC. That would be awesome.
Tennessee wins the ACC.
Yes. Correct.
Which I'm all for, by the way. I'm all for us moving to ACC.
I'm all for it, but I don't think the ACC is not going to exist.
Oh, no.
They did great in their scheduling. I love that they're moving to that model. But looking at the landscape of college football, don't you have to go out and you have to get more members, right? And I think it's probably hard for them to steal members right now. But why would you not be looking at programs that may be committed to making that jump?
Well, the ACC has no backbone. They proved that when they don't make Notre Dame join a conference. So
true, 100%. Well, that's a team that you're going to lose Notre Dame to the Big Ten. That's a premier college football program. I love making fun of them, but you had them in your grasp and you're just going to let them walk. It's so stupid.
They played you.
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, no backbone. I just think there's a lot.
There's
of
the same. If you count Notre Dame in the ACC, which I do because they play an ACC schedule, there's the same amount of ACC teams as SEC teams in the Coaches Bowl.
That's ridiculous. That's absurd. Interesting. I mean, it's gonna be funny to see. I do think it's probably. I'll give the coaches a little bit of leeway. I think it's like we talked about how weird this year is going to be. I think it's going to be tough. I think if me and you drew up a top 25, it would probably look pretty silly at the end of the year too.
Oh yeah, I said, I don't think there's a great way to do it. After 3, you're like, just throw.
That's what we should do.
See what happens. See what.
Let's just do 1, 2, and 3, and then TBD. We'll win. Yeah. We'll win the bracket offs.
Agreed. Yeah.
Or the poll offs.
You can bet on that. Those 3 teams versus the field.
I think it's. I'll go one step farther. I think it's Alabama versus the field.
Plus 180.
What happens if they don't win the national championship? Is this also a rebuilding year?
Yes, 100%.
What makes Saban retire? Winning or not winning? Like, does he go out on top, or is he a guy that's just like, all right, my time's, or does he just have a day that he gets out?
I think he passes away while he's still the active coach.
Probably. I don't think him and Bill Belichick ever retired. Well, first off, they're like demons. I don't know if you can.
Cyborgs.
Yeah, I don't know what like. I don't like them. I don't like that you haven't commented on my leopard print.
I saw it earlier.
Jacket,
I do like that. It's just a normal thing, dude. You just hit bombs and put that sucker on. Too bad the NCAA, friends of the pod, they're taking that away too. No props.
Dude, my favorite thing, and I'm gonna misremember what the prop was, but Drew Gilbert's first home run. Sure enough, this doesn't happen in the and they always say the MLB, but I mean the minor leagues. I know it's not the same league, but it's the same players essentially. Like those guys are in the MLB mix. This doesn't happen in the pros. Sure enough, Drew Gilbert's first walk-off, he gets a championship belt as he heads into the dugout. Miss me with this stupid crap. Like, you all are morons, all of you.
Yeah.
If you've ever said anything about a home run prop, you're a sad, sad human being.
Yeah, and hope Drew Gilbert gets better, gets back to 100%. It looks like he was in a brace from what I read. After he crashed into the wall, had to be carted off the field.
Oh, I missed that.
The other
I didn't
day,
realize he had to get carted off. I saw he got injured.
Apparently, he tried to stand up and just couldn't, and so they carted him off. So
I'm gonna blame that one on Tony V. He kind of put that on Drew that he had to run into a wall if given the chance.
Well, here's that's how Drew Gilbert plays anyway.
Oh, I know.
He would go back out there and do the exact same thing today.
Right. So at the draft, I don't know if you heard Tony talking about him. He said we had to make a rule because he would run into the wall at practice going for a ball defense. So like he was like, hey, wherever you go, this is the bottom, the minimum effort you have to give, man. I put my
when they're hitting BP to him, they just they have Jordan Beck standing at the wall, and if he gets anywhere near it, Beck just spears him.
Love it.
Also, Beck cut his hair. I don't know how I feel about it.
Dang. Like short or just trimmed it up?
No, it's short.
Dang. Interesting.
Yeah.
He was it wasn't quite a mullet he had, but it's getting there.
It was
mullet adjacent.
Some luscious locks going on. Yeah, hope Drew Gilbert gets back pretty soon. It looks like he was on his way to at least Asheville and probably up a little higher this year. So
right.
Hopefully you're able to get him healthy again. I wish I had more updates on that, but I don't. So
yeah,
it's hard to get updates on minor league players.
Yeah, for sure. That's I don't know who runs it, but the Vols and the pros have been great. Good to follow, keeping up with those guys, kind of their sole focus. So that's cool. It's kind of just been this season's players, though, right? I'd like to see.
They have mentioned some Zach Daniels and Andre Lipsius and Garrett Stallings. So I think Stallings is in AA and Lipsius is in AAA. So that they've done. Yep. Zach Daniels is high A with the tourists in Asheville.
Great pronunciation.
Tourists.
Great pronunciation. That was solid. You ready for most important?
Yeah, let's do it.
Sweet. I've got we're gonna go Little League World Series here.
Okay.
First off, it is the most important, but I did come up with a new great. I think you can make football gloves and baseball gloves that look like these. Do you see the kid from Wyoming wearing leather ranch work gloves and he hit a bomb with them on?
Yeah.
I think you could make some lineman gloves that look like that, and they're selling to every college football team in America and probably high school too. Can you imagine the coaches bringing those into the locker room and putting them on, getting those in your hard hats on?
See, I would love that. I also kind of hate it because there's guys in my softball league that wears those kind of gloves, and it pisses me off.
Yeah, it's one of those things that it's cool to see on a kid. You see an adult softball league, and you're like, no, maybe not.
Yeah, they kind of ruined it for me. So it's not those kids' fault.
He mashed the video when it was originally posted. He mashed that ball. Absolutely mashed it.
You got to mash it. Like you put those gloves on, you got to. If you
For
don't,
sure.
you look like a moron. I feel like I had something with the preseason, but I can't remember what it was. Oh, I think it was Matt Corral leading a game-winning drive
Oh, nice.
and didn't throw a completion.
What? Just running the ball?
Yeah.
He's really developing with a better team.
Yeah.
Good for him.
I
He's
think
getting
he
a lot
was
better.
1 for 9 in his debut, so not great, but
Game-winning drive is a game-winning drive, baby.
yeah, yeah.
Are there any other
Fourth quarter
quarterbacks
comeback.
you want to mention that maybe did good this weekend that played at the end of the game?
Josh Dobbs played pretty well.
Okay, is that it? That the only guy in orange that did pretty good? Yeah. All right. My next most important is our boy Willie Z, Will Zalatoris. Want me some money?
How much
Dude,
money
just
did
a
you win?
freaking just 30. I just put 10 on it.
Oh.
But man, what a fun playoff. There was some great shots, some not so great shots, some that had you didn't feel like you could breathe for a second. Will just draining some lag putts. Like, it was freaking fun. Live Golf is officially dead. I'm calling it dead officially now. It just loved it. And do you have any more most importance, or can I jump to a quick fail? Speaking of St.
Yeah,
Joe
go
Day?
ahead.
Okay. Golf Week tweeted, controversy is alive and well at FedEx St. Jude Championship. So are the kids with cancer.
Shit.
And then they promptly deleted that tweet. Not before it had 48 quote tweets and 20 likes, though. So hung around on there for a little too long, guys. And screenshots live forever. I hate to tell you. So
Yeah, got to be careful what you tweet. I have a fail. Yes. So Carlos Correa, former Houston Astro, now with the Minnesota Twins, was asked about Fernando Tatis's suspension with PEDs, and he said, "Wow, the slugger told media before Friday's game, if there's one thing I don't respect, it's a cheater. I'll leave it at that."
Ooh. Maybe just keep your mouth shut there, brother. It's
Yeah.
like the John Calipari thing. You don't need to say it. You don't.
I don't respect it. Dude, you are the poster boy of cheating.
I'm okay with calling him that.
Yeah. Oh, I did have one more most important. Can I read that real quick?
No, you're too late.
Okay. So Cardinals minor league prospect Chandler Redmond hit a home run cycle in a game.
Is that 4 home runs?
4 home runs, a solo, a 2-run, a 3-run, and a grand slam.
No way. How often has that happened?
He did it in 4 straight innings.
What was the score of that game that he had that opportunity?
It was like 17 to something.
Good night.
But when he hit the first one, it was 4-3 in the 5th.
Wait. So he had probably 4-3. He probably had 2 at-bats before. How many at-bats did he have in the game?
Probably 5, 6. At least 6.
Sorry. Emily's asking me where Brutus is at.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's
one
absolutely
of
wild. That's so cool.
Yeah, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard of.
Home run cycle. So do you know how often that's happened, though? Like, how many times?
I don't know.
It can't be more than once.
Yeah, like
they probably had to make a name up for it.
Probably. Yeah, I think he was like, he's done it again. He hit 4 home runs. Like, he didn't even realize what he had done.
Right.
Like the announcer did until like after the game.
That's awesome.
That, they tweeted it.
I hope his bar tab was picked up that night. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, to Tequila Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it was on like a random night like that. So that's been awesome.
I don't have any more fails, but I have 2 things I want to ask you about. Do you have any more fails?
I have one more. Yeah.
Okay.
Give me go ahead.
Yeah, go, and then I'll ask these questions.
I hate to call these people out, but it needs to be done. Vol Shop.
No, I'm not giving them a fail. You can't. They're my LMOL. Love of my life.
Here's the thing. Like, just stop charging so much for stuff. They did a. Did you see the sweatshirts that they made today?
Not the sweatshirts. I saw the sweatpants that are cool, but they're like $60. I'm not spending that on sweatpants.
So it was some crew necks, which like it's too hot to be ordering a crew neck right now anyway. But it's these. I don't know. Did you see that?
I didn't. At all? I can kind of see. I can't really see the design, but it's probably like a champion crew neck.
Yeah, it's a champion crew neck. It's got Tennessee. It's got like the Tennessee helmet and then volunteers. It's just like stitched.
Right. Oh,
guess how much it is?
$80.
76.
I know my clothing. Well, think about how cheap Champion was when we were growing up. You could have gotten that for $30.
Yeah, I think you can get a regular Champion sweatshirt for $40.
That is cool that that's stitched. I wouldn't pay $76 for it.
Yeah, you can get that made for probably $40.
Maybe. That's. I mean, 70. I just won't buy a sweater for $76.
No, you can't.
Especially
this is Champion. Yeah, like they sold that in Walmart. It's hard for me to ever want to pay $76 for.
Right. They said the 2022, 2023 sideline gear's out. They've got a lot of Peter Millar that's good. $135 though.
I mean, the sweatshirts look awesome, but $76 for a sweatshirt. Eesh. Know your audience.
For sure. All right. So I have two questions. Going back to Tennessee. So you saw Danny White released the poll for numbers. Did you vote?
Yes.
What'd you vote?
Keep them the same.
Okay. I did too. I think so. I kind of liked I'm not crazy about the Nike font, but the picture I saw, I thought it looked good. Of course, you never know until it's on the field. The thing is,
I don't really have a hot take either way.
Right. I mean, yeah, that's kind of mine. I'm kind of indifferent to it.
I don't want it to look bad, so that's why I said just keep it the way that it is.
Good call. Everyone's mad because apparently some dude bought like 10,000 votes, which is absurd for someone to buy votes for that. But I do think too, it's cool that Danny White wants fan input, but that's not a real poll. Because I know it seems like there's a large portion of the Tennessee fan base on Twitter, but there's just not. Like, how many people in the stadium on Saturday do you think are actively on Twitter that would see Danny White's tweet that's an only 24-hour poll and vote in it?
Yeah. Also, like, what would that poll even sway anything?
What do you mean? Sway what?
Like would it like it would probably be like, oh, this many people like that. What is he just bringing it up for discussion?
It sounded like he said they were going to do it if whatever got voted on. That's what it sounded. Now I don't know for sure.
Yeah,
but that's what it sounded like. Now there were 41,000 votes, but I also could have technically voted several times because I have several Twitter accounts if I really wanted to.
How many do you have?
And access to 4. Because I have the more important issues one. I have a burner and I have access to another account still.
I love that you're just openly saying that you have a burner.
I don't care. Well, and you know what my burner is. Other people probably could guess what my burner is. But
I know what it is. But it's.
I don't use. The thing is, too, is I don't use it. So
you should.
I should. I also lost the info to it, but
so you don't have access to it anymore.
I could probably get it if I wanted. Like I could get an email.
Get it. Okay. Yeah. Forgot password.
So it says 41,000. It's just like, and how many of those people are even in the stadium too? It's just, I don't know. It's just people complaining about the guy that bought votes. It's like the poll is kind of dumb anyways, guys. Chill out.
Yeah.
So,
well, my thing to Danny White that if I were to if he would ask me personally, I would just be like, be careful changing everything.
Right.
You don't have to. Like the Vols letters, perfect. I think you kind of got to get a feel for, what people want. And like if it's up for debate, then just leave it as it is.
I don't hate that take.
But yeah, the Vols letters that everybody was going to say yes.
Let's do this real quick. My brother's calling me, so hey, you're on the podcast, and I got a question for you, and then I'll call you after to talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Okay.
Did you see? Well, I don't know if you can talk about it on the podcast, but so I just wanted to see. Did you see Danny White's tweet, the poll about the numbers, the field numbers?
Oh, well, I don't know if it was Danny White, but I saw someone saying we might change numbers. Yeah.
So he put out a poll to either do the Nike numbers to match the jersey font, or keep it. What would you vote?
Jersey numbers.
Okay. Do you care though?
No, I don't care.
The other one looks good.
Yeah.
All right. That was me, and that's kind of where me and Landon are at. So we're just curious.
I just think the Nike numbers look fast.
They do. They remind me the thing I kind of don't like about them. I feel like the field would look an awful lot like Oregon.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just something classic about.
That proves my point, I guess.
No, for sure. I think there's something too about I can't remember the name of the font, but the font we have now that just says like SEC football to me.
Yeah, I feel that.
Your thoughts, Landon?
No, I like that.
So, all right, man. Well, I'll call you back here in just a few minutes. See you, man.
See you, Johnny.
That was Jonathan Mitchell. He was calling me, so I was like, "Oh, let's just see this." Yeah, I don't know. I definitely am indifferent, like you said.
Yeah, if they want to change it, cool.
Don't know. Yeah,
but that picture that they had, like that the football camp posted with the Vols letters going into the stadium.
Yeah, that was cool.
Oh.
I think there's two, like you said, there's something like don't be so eager to change so much, because I think there's a lot of, and I think maybe we just get a little antsy because I think the renovations that we're seeing right now are going to help Neyland Stadium. I don't think like the Jumbotron's the biggest jump. No, not many people are going to experience the club level. The Vols letter doesn't add to game day experience. It looks beautiful, but the Jumbotron's really the only adage. I think it's going to make Neyland Stadium feel a whole lot better.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I don't think you want to just change. Like, I think you're riding this high. Like your popularity, you're kind of going up. One bad mistake, and people are gonna have your ass. So
right. So what about the Kentucky AD saying that about Calipari?
Yeah, somebody.
What a dumb thing to say, though. Too. What a dumb thing to say.
Also, kind of like. I think like I've talked to a couple of Kentucky fans. They're kind of fed up with Cal. Like he was like, I kind of made this comment to him and to see if he agreed with me, and he did. But I was like, I feel like Kentucky basketball was already established before Calipari got there.
Yeah, he's not Kentucky basketball.
Right. So like my thing is like Cal needs Kentucky basketball more than Kentucky basketball needs Cal. I think they could probably get somebody else, like a really good coach, and they probably wouldn't drop off very much.
Yeah, no, I think I agree.
Stoops, it's the opposite.
Yes, I agree with the sentiment. I don't think I would say Kentucky basketball Cal needs them more because he was successful at Memphis. Like I think there's another team he's successful at. So I don't entirely agree with that part of it, but the rest of it I do 100% agree with it. And I think too, Calipari's forgetting that Kentucky basketball, yes, they are established before he got there, but no matter how good they are, Kentucky fans want to be good at football. If you ask them if they could trade, I promise you this is true. Kentucky fans will call bullcrap. If they could trade Kentucky basketball for the history of Tennessee football, they would 100%.
Interesting.
I promise. And they'll say no, but look at how they celebrate the wins over Tennessee the 3 they've gotten in the last 30 years, 40 years.
Yeah.
I just don't think – I think Cal is forgetting that he's still – as much as he feels like he's a Big Ten school because it's freezing up there all the time and they're good at basketball, they're an SEC school and football is king.
Yeah, I just think Kentucky fans are kind of – over Cal a little bit. I don't think he's won enough recently to really, kind of.
He's complaining about a leaking roof and asking for a new full facility. Surely you can come up with a better excuse than a leaky roof.
Yeah, there's roof guys out there in Kentucky,
right?
Sure.
And if it's your AC, I know a guy that can get you a new HVAC.
Yep.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's just I still think it's interesting to kind of put that on Cal because there are going to be a lot of basketball supporters too that aren't going to be happy with that comment still.
Yeah, it's the. I think it's the Volcats are going to be like, "Oh, what are you going to do? Fire him?" But it's like the people who like every sport at Kentucky,
Right.
are just like, "Why is this dude such a jackass? He hasn't won
Yeah.
anything in the past 5 years."
Right. I haven't heard him say anything about the girls having to play in the old gym while he gets to play in Rupp. Never heard that comment. That's weird. Yeah. Maybe he hates women. I don't know. I'm not saying he is.
That is true because I know North Carolina does that too.
I think it's Memorial is the name of that gym. I think. Yeah. So, and then my last question, we'll get out of here. What do you think about Cliff Kingsbury? It's framed as he let Kyler Murray call plays. Did he make him or let? Because he made that comment. I think I sent it to you last week. How he said Kyler can be very frustrating because he wants to do certain stuff, but he doesn't understand play calling. And he's like, maybe I'll let him call plays in the preseason, and so he understands like guys don't always do what you need them and want them to do. And
Well, he doesn't watch film, so I don't know if I'd want him changing calls.
right,
Isn't
it's got to be
crazy. That's in your contract. Apparently, it got taken out or something. Like he doesn't have to do that, but it was in his contract that he had to watch so much film a week.
Yeah, I think most girls would agree with me that everybody. I think the rule is everybody tells you, don't date a guy because because of who you want him to be. Date a guy that you know who he is or whatever. You love who he is. Yeah, I don't think you can. No matter how much money you pay somebody, I don't think you can really make them watch 4 hours a week of film. Like they better.
Right.
You either take it that he doesn't, or you figure it out and you put guys in his, in place that can help him, or don't sign him. Like I don't know. I hate that he's not gonna probably pan out. It sounds like him and Cliff Kingsbury are button heads bad.
Well, I mean, the end of his seasons have been terrible. Yeah. I mean, there was, I guess, 2 years ago where or maybe even last year, he was the MVP front runner.
Last year, I know they started out hot. I don't know where he was at.
Yeah,
as far as that goes,
he was the front runner at one point, and then just died off.
Fell off base. Yeah.
Whatever. Film. Yeah. Watching film.
Just curious what you thought about that.
Yeah, that's yeah. It kind of sucks that it's not going to work out. But
I like Kyler. I like Cliff Kingsbury. I like the Cardinals. I think I've always liked the Cardinals because of Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
Not that I cheer for him or anything. It's just like, I like that organization.
Yeah.
Ooh, and Carson Palmer. Can't forget him. Is it Carson? Yeah.
Carson. All right. Well, that's all
I got. Fun. Been fun, guys. Almost football season. Hackers Cup Saturday. Can't wait.
Yeah, for those of y'all just popping in our regular time 8, sorry.
Oh, yeah. We didn't even send out a tweet about it. Thanks for coming
I said 7.
Oh, you did? Okay, cool.
Yeah. So hopefully they didn't see it. Sorry. We'll be back. Thursday's going to be weird. We'll have to kind of figure that out.
Oh, yeah. You're out of town, aren't you?
I am out of town. I could probably still do it on my phone. So
we might be able to, if you want, we could maybe even do a short one Friday together.
Okay. Yeah. Ooh.
I'll talk about it. We don't have to talk about this on the show. We can logistically plan it later. So.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Have a good week. We're bringing the boat in, and we out.